What's good, you guys? Daniel Cruz here, back with another episode of Cook with Cruz. Today I'm going to be breaking down another sample from one of my packs, as well as breaking down the beat that I made with it. This was suggested by Dan Johnson on my last Cook with Cruz episode. In the sample pack he is referring to is my foundation sample pack. So as always, links will be up in the top right corner and in the description if you want to check out the sample pack. But today I'm going to be breaking down one of my more favorite ones that I made in this pack, and of course we'll go into the beat right after that. But that's what we're breaking down today. I know you guys like the sample breakdowns as well as the beats, so I'll try to keep these going as much as I can. And please keep leaving me more suggestions in the comments of beats, songs you want to see broken down, or samples. Even if you have one of my sample packs, just let me know the name and I'll break it down in an episode. And I'm sure you know the drill already. Before we jump in, if you can please leave me a thumbs up on the video, I greatly appreciate it. Really helps keep me going every Sunday with these videos. But now, without further ado, let's break down what I call the season in my foundation sample pack. Okay, so getting right into it. This sample is called The Season in my foundation sample pack. This right here is what our project file is looking like for that sample. And the main melody instrument that I'm using in this is a flute. So let's go ahead and start with that. For the flute, I'm in Omnisphere using the Retro Flute Celeste preset. And before I play it out, let's look into the mixer here. So for effects, we're going to start off with some RC20. This is just a preset that I kind of tweaked and saved just so I can use later. Nothing too crazy on it. Also threw on some reverb to it and some EQ, cutting just over 1K here. So that's the flute we're working with. Now let's see how it sounds. So that's what I ended up coming up with that patch. Pretty solid melody. And from there, we're just going to really try to accent that melody. And now that we have that melody, let's go ahead and rewind just a little bit on just how I structured the sample out. So looking in here as I brought the sample in, how it starts. This audio clip right here is exactly what I just played. Just dropped down an octave. I just rendered it out to audio. And to maintain the bass of the flute which I originally played, we have our low flute pattern right here. Same exact flute. All I'm really doing is just extending the bass notes here. And now as we enter kind of like the main section of the sample, that's where the actual main flute's going to come in, which I just played. And sitting behind our flute, we're going to have this music box pattern right here. So for this patch, we are back in Omnisphere Electric Jack in the Box preset. Looking into our mixer, some more RC20, no more boring pads preset. Looks like I did tweak some stuff here. That's why it's got the asterisk. But these are the settings that I used for this music box patch. Also threw on some Pan Man here to give it a nice stereo feel. This is going to sit behind our flute. It's going to sound really subtle. Might even sound a little boring by itself, but it definitely complements the main melody well. So now let's go ahead and play that with our flute now. Again, it's going to sit behind the flute, so it's going to be subtle here, but a nice touch. And now moving on, from here on out, I'm really just kind of having fun and experimenting with different instruments and things that I can just try to throw in here. So I ended up coming across this very weird but dope sound in Arcade. So pulling it up, this is the warped pack, I guess you want to call it, in the motion blur preset, I guess, or a set of instruments you can play with. So I ended up coming across this sound right here. Kind of weird sound, but it actually sounded pretty dope with everything I have so far. So that ended up working out pretty nice. Moving along here, I have this flute roll audio clip. I honestly can't remember where I found this. I want to say I got it from Splice maybe, but this is just going to add, you know, an extra touch to what we have. So there goes our little flute roll we threw in there. So now moving on towards the end, this is where I kind of just have fun and just play with things. So the first thing I did was take our flute here and just reversed it. And I'm also going to add this very dark, gritty sounding bass. This is also going to be in Omnisphere. Growler Moog bass is the preset. And to get our gritty, dark sound, we had Decapitator mid driver preset on it. Nothing special here, really just following the bass notes from our flute. So altogether, this is what the end of the sample is going to sound like. So there goes the sample, all broken down for you right there. That is the Season in the Foundation sample pack. Now that we have that broken down, let's jump into the project file that I made the beat out of. So let's jump into that and see how I flipped it from there. So here we go right here. This is the playlist right here for the actual beat that I made using the sample. So we already went over all the instruments, all the patches, all the effects that I used. From here, it was just a matter of kind of just structuring and placing the instruments where I felt they fit best. So for the beats, we're starting it off the same as the sample pretty much, the flute bass with the low flute sample. And the main instruments that I wanted to take from the sample I made are the flute and music box, which you can see right here. We're jumping into making a beat now, so I really want to make sure we're keeping it simple as far as the instruments go. And then later down the line, we are going to throw in that weird textured melody that was from Arcade. I also thought that added a really nice background touch to everything, so I wanted to keep that in somewhere in the beat. So from here on out, we really need to have some hard-hitting drums to go with this melody. So let's start to go over that right now. Drums shouldn't be too crazy as well. Here's going to start with a clap. Here's our closed hat pattern right here. Here's going to be our open hat. Our 808 pattern. This is going to be backbone of everything pretty much. Here's our kick to layer up with our 808. Here's another closed hat pattern, just a real simple pattern here to kind of accent every beat on the hi-hat here. And that's really all I wanted for the drums. Keep them simple, hard hitting. Let's take a listen to how the drums sound now. Sounding crazy. I should actually like put that in like a drum loop pack or something. But that's all we really need. From here on out, it's just basically structuring the beat out. So when we come in for our drop, which is right here after the intro, just keeping the flute music box. Gonna have the main part of our drums, just the 808, open hat, closed hat, and clap. So let's hear how we're gonna drop now from the intro. So sounding pretty crazy altogether. So one little thing that I do when I transition into the next part of verse, hook, whatever we want to use it for, I took the tail end of our kick here, which had like a kick roll at the end, so adds like a kind of nice lead up to how the kick comes in, and then our extra low closed tat is going to come down here. So let's hear how we transition into the next part now. And then now for the next section of our, basically our verse here, we're just gonna thin out just a little bit. We're gonna take out our weird textured melody. Gonna take out our layered closed hat. So it's gonna very subtly thin out the beat just a little bit. And now for, I guess, kind of like our hook break kind of section. Leading up to it, just a transition effect here from Contact. Rise and Hit from a far preset, one of my more favorite transitional presets. So this will lead us into this kind of break here. This is where the intro kind of comes back in a little bit. Got flute bass. This audio clip right here is our flute roll from the sample, which I showed you already. Weird melodies coming back, and our low octave flute. So all together. And as you heard right there, we're just gonna rinse and repeat. So that pretty much wraps up the entire beat that I made from the sample this season. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's breakdown. I had a lot of fun making the sample and the beat for this. So please leave a thumbs up for me if you enjoyed today's episode. Greatly appreciated if you do, and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out next Sunday, because I'll be back with another breakdown. Keep in my comments with the suggestions. I like the suggestions you guys are giving me. As you can see, I'm doing episodes, whatever you guys are throwing at me. So hit me up in the comments of what you want to see me break down next. And once again, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this sample is from my Foundation sample pack. Links are going to be in the description for you for those that want to check it out. But anyways, that is all from me today. I will see you guys next Sunday. I'm out. Peace.